Hello, it's good to have you watching VTV News Live this Thursday, January the 7th. My name's Lanning and latest news updates are headed your way. World Bank predicts a global economy's prospect for 2016, including forecast for Vietnam. Also regarding forecast for 2016, CBRE predicts impact of exchange rate policies on Vietnamese steel real estate market. And Little Hui University boasts collaboration with international universities to train students. Now, first up, the World Bank expects the global economy to grow to 2.9% for this year in terms of real GDP in its latest semi-annual Global Economic Prospect Report. Now, according to experts, the justifications for this 0.4 percentage point decrease from 2015's figure of 2.4% could be the slowing down of emerging economies such as China and Brazil. In Southeast Asia, the World Bank predicts that vigorous growth in Vietnam and Thailand's recovery will make up for the weak growth in nations dependent on the consumption market, such as Indonesia and Malaysia. However, the Trans-Pacific Partnership has been highlighted as a spotlight to stimulate a global trade this year. So how can Vietnam, a member of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, take advantage of this important change in global trade? Our UK correspondent Phương Huynh took this opportunity to sit down with Francisca Onshorch, the author of World Bank's Semi-Annual Global Economic Prospect 2016 report, to find out more.
Thank you so much, Francisca. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is expected to boost global trade in 2016. Vietnam is also a member of this partnership. Can you please explain how Vietnam can benefit from the trade deal?
Yeah, TPP incorporates big tariff cuts to Vietnamese textiles and apparel. That is really the main channel for the gains for Vietnam. Both non-tariff barriers and tariff cuts were sizable, and TPP eliminates them. So we estimate that on average it could lift GDP in TPP members by about 1.1%, but some members will benefit much more, and among those are Vietnam and Malaysia, where TPP may lift GDP by 2030 by somewhere between 8 and 10 percentage points. It's a large area. It covers a large number of countries that are really big. It covers about a third of global GDP. It covers about a fifth of global trade. So this is on the order of the EU. It's a large trading bloc.
How can the slowing down of emerging economies affect other developing countries like Vietnam?
Vietnam is very open. The whole region, actually, East Asia, is very open to trade and is very open to portfolio flows and investment, also to mutual investment. And they have very deeply integrated since 2000 into each other, so all of East Asia. So yes, that makes it more likely that any effect on trade trickles through the supply chains to the rest of East Asia, including Vietnam.
Thank you for joining us today.
Vietnam's inflation rate is likely to rise again in the second half of this year, thus requiring tighter monetary control. This is forecast by HSBC Vietnam in its latest macroeconomic report. The report states that Vietnam's economy has gained significant achievements over the past year, with GDP rising to 6.7%, the highest recorded in the past 8 years. The inflation rate dropped to 0.6% last year. However, in the first and the second half of this year, the figure is forecast to rise to 3% and 5.1%, that is, respectively, due to stable global oil prices and rises in food prices. Now, HSBC experts also suggest that if inflation rises to forecasted levels, tighter monetary control should be implemented by the State Bank of Vietnam in the second half of this year. The new year has arrived with new exchange rate policies issued by the government. So what impact will this have on the real estate market in the coming time? A press conference by CBRE Vietnam attempt to answer this question, and others are following the research into Vietnamese real estate conditions.
As the US dollar deposit rate has been reduced to 0%, experts believe that customers may have to pay fees for US dollar deposits. These, in conjunction with incoming remittances, leads to more US dollar in the market. The question is, does this mean opportunities for the real estate sector in 2016?
Now, many Vietnamese investors may feel confident enough about their currency to invest into real estate instead of buying US dollar.
2015 saw over 21,000 successful property transactions and land values recover from 7 to 10%. According to experts, 2016 will see many exchange rate fluctuations. However, foreign investors are confident about real estate prospects this year.
That means they see the future for Vietnam, so that's a positive thing. And for that, US dominant fund is perfect for them to come here to invest. If you see, Hong Kong's or the US investor coming here a lot more, so I think the fundamental is different.
According to CBRE, 80% of real estate capital has domestic origins. Therefore, US dollar exchange rate policies will not significantly affect the real estate market. However, this could result in many US dollar holders purchasing property as a new domain of investment.
Now, in a related news, Vietnamese enterprises took the lead in mergers and acquisitions, or M&A, in the domestic real estate sector in 2015. This is according to the Ho Chi Minh City Real Estate Association. The group also states that through M&As, real estate firms have played an important part in handling inventory and bad debts in the real estate market. Statistics show that there were nearly 1,200 large-scale real estate development projects in the city over the past year. Also in Ho Chi Minh City, the city's export value fell by nearly 15%, or $3 billion compared to 2014, down from a record $30 billion in 2014. The city authorities reported that crude oil, coffee, forest products, and plastics all reported drops. Import also rose about 30% to nearly $34 billion in 2015. This saw the city record a trade deficit, partially attributed to the sharp decrease in oil prices. Ho Chi Minh City's largest export market was the U.S., with its largest import market being China. Vietnam imported more than 1.25 million tons of steel last December, bringing total import volume in 2015 to more than 15 million tons, valued at $7.3 billion. Now, this is according to the latest statistics from the General Department of Vietnam Customs. Most of the imported steel products came from China, Japan, and the Republic of Korea and Taiwan, China, with China alone accounting for over 50%. Cheap imported steel has flooded the domestic market, caused numerous difficulties for domestic businesses. The Ministry of Industry and Trade has recently decided to conduct an investigation against imported steel ingots and steel bars and is considering technical barriers. Domestic production has increased by 5 to 10%, while imports skyrocketed by over 150% last year. Now, a green economy can generate growth compared to traditional economies that rely on the use of natural resources. The northeastern coastal province of Quảng Ninh is taking steps in transiting from brown to green growth as it pursues a course towards sustainable development. We have a closer look in the following report.
In this land famous for its coal, planting a tree requires years. The efforts already made to transform Quảng Ning's economy in the last 5 years have been significant. In 2010, the service sectors accounted only 34% of the province's economy. By the end of 2015, this figure has shifted to 45%.
Previously, coal accounted for 30% in our economy. Now it's just 15%. So we have to put more focus on developing tourism in order to balance mining. We're trying to create a balance between sectors so we can secure sustainable growth.
tất cả cùng phát triển nhưng trên cơ sở là
5 years of transiting from a brown to green economy has witnessed a better infrastructure thanks to various international projects in Quảng Ninh. The province has successfully called for some $6.5 billion in funding from both domestic and international sources.
We are only interested in investors that share our vision. We also have to provide incentives to become even more attractive.
Quảng Ning's competitiveness index has seen the province climbed from 20th to 5th in the rankings. Experts have praised the province's foresight and early moves towards a more sustainable economic model.
Quảng Ninh has shifted from exploiting resources to developing tourism. It's really a big step in moving toward a green economy. This way, the province has skipped the period of industrialization.
In 2020, Quảng Ninh province aims to have a service sector as the lead in its economic structure, followed by industry. This is a prime example for other cities and provinces to transform their economic models as they pursue sustainable growth.
Now, farmers can actively look for customers, directly sign contracts, and discuss prices with buyers through agricultural trading floors. Now, flower growers in the Central Highland region of Lâm Đồng and nationwide also expect such trading floors for flowers to help connect them with the world market. And the following story has more.
This flower garden is about to be harvested for the Lunar New Year period. Previously, Vũ only provided flowers to just a few familiar customers. Therefore, he had to change the varieties he grew every year to follow their trends.
Farmers like me just follow people's trends and have no specific plans. I have to change species of flowers we grow every year, and most farmers like me don't work with businesses.
The weak connection between farmers like Vũ and big firms has had a negative impact on Đà Lad's flower growing capacity. In 2015, only 10% of Đà Lad's flowers were exported, earning about $26 million. However, even the small number of Vietnamese flowers have done quite well in Japan, China, and some other major markets in Southeast Asia. According to experts in flower industry, the supply chain, including florists, business, and customers, will be more effective if there's more clarity over demand on electric trading floors.
A trading floor should be updated regularly with transparent information about markets. At the same time, it should also create a link between farmers and distributors. When selling flowers on trading floors, you must ensure you consistently meet your quality targets. This requirement will force farmers and businesses to actively improve storage processes to protect their brands in both the domestic and global market.
While flower trading floor is being discussed and implemented, farmers and distributors are also working hard to expand markets for their products.
Now, petunias is a flower type that is typically planted in hotter climates. This kind of flower has been imported to the central province of Thừa Thiên Huế, and the province has recently gained success in the trial planting of petunias. This success is said to create more opportunities for local florists hoping to raise this flower species.
1,000 pots of petunias bloom at the Faculty of Agronomy, Huế University of Agriculture and Forestry. 2 months ago, Lã Thị Thu Hằng, a lecturer at the faculty, decided to buy petunia seeds from America. Since then, she has conducted research and trial plantings. Now, more than 1,000 pots of petunias are growing well. The flowers are expected to bloom by the Lunar New Year to meet demand from consumers in the flower market.
These petunia seeds are popular overseas. However, few high-quality seeds are available to our farmers. Because quality units are often sold to wholesalers in large quantities, not for retail. Our goal is to research and create petunia seeds that are suitable for weather conditions in Huế.
According to Hằng, Petunias are not widely grown in Hue, but mostly imported. However, the cost to import them is expensive and the flowers do not last long because of the weather. If farmers had access to good supplies, they could produce more for the Hue flower market at lower prices and higher profits.
Through our research, we have succeeded in growing petunias that are beautiful and suitable for Hue weather conditions. Now both farmers and consumers can benefit from a flower that blooms longer, up to 2 months.
With preliminary success in trial planting, the Thanh Hue province can expect a petunia that is suitable for planting and meets consumer demand. Once the flowers are propagated, Hue farmers will have a more affordable supply, bringing significant economic benefits to their families every Tet holiday.
Let's now check out the value of Vietnamese dong against other major currencies as of today, January the 7th. Next on VTV News, a Russian warship visits the central city of Da Nang, strengthening bilateral defense cooperation. And later, Hue University boosts collaboration with international universities to train its students. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now, the Russian destroyer Bistri arrived at Da Nang's Tiên Sa port on January the 6th, beginning a 4-day visit to the city. The visit aimed to strengthen bilateral defense cooperation with Russia. During the stay in the city, Captain Juravic and crew also visited and led wreaths in memory of Vietnamese war dead. The visit will build on the previous visit in July 2015 and enhance ties between Vietnam and Russia's naval forces. The law on household registration took effect on January the 1st. Now, the law stipulates that each individual has the right to choose where to register their household. Now, Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Hải Phòng, and Da Nang are the first cities to have implemented the law. We have more in the following.
Hung's family is one of the first family to register the birth of their child in accordance with the law on household registration. He doesn't have to wait too long, and the paperwork is less complicated compared to previously.
I can register the birth for my children where I live. Birth certificates of a child include both parents and are not restricted to only the mother like before.
Both certificates are considered one of the most important content of the law on household registration. Parents no longer have to return to their hometown to register their children if they live elsewhere. According to the law, children under 14 now also have an ID number.
The software for identification number showed some errors on the first child. We have immediately reported the problems to the department to fix it.
Only a birth certificate is required now along with other related documents as prescribed by law. It is much less complicated than before.
Even though the first days of implementing the law faced some technical errors, the law on household registration is expected to simplify household registrations, making things easier for the public.
Around 4,000 bridges will be built to facilitate the travel and livelihoods of ethnic groups across the country by 2020. Now, this is a part of a government program for the period from 2014 to 2020. The program, worth nearly $337 million, is being implemented in 5,237 communes in 450 districts across 50 provinces and cities. Now, in the first phase from 2014 to 2015, 186 bridges were built in 28 mountainous provinces throughout the nation. at a cost of $41 million. Phase 2 will be subsidized by Official Development Assistance or ODA, local budgets, and social resources. The Central Coastal City of Da Nang's Department of Transport will implement a project involving state-funded bus routes this year. Now, under the project, 5 bus routes operated thanks to government money will run for commuters inside the city. About 60 40-seater buses will run from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. The buses will carry advertising to subsidize the running costs. Now, Hue University in recent years has boosted collaboration with international universities to train over 900 students. Now, the school aims to further integrate internationally and improve its standings on the world stage. We find out how these efforts have benefited students in the following report.
This is a workshop on elderly care under the supervision of a Japanese specialist at Hue University of Medicine and Pharmacy. This workshop provides Vietnamese students with both theoretical and practical knowledge about the field.
These techniques would have been very costly if learned in Japan. However, the course has been brought here, making study convenient and cheap.
Hue University is currently running 3 joint training programs with 10 international partners, including France, Australia, Italy, Japan, Austria, and China. Working with these academics at international standards improves students' communication skills in foreign languages. Moreover, it opens opportunities to embrace advanced knowledge.
I did the first 2 years of my course in Vietnam to save money and prepare myself with French education and language for the next 3 years in France. It proved to be very effective. We are planning to expand our joint projects with international partners. This means we need to consider new policies for credit transfers. This will allow our students to go abroad and foreign students to come here.
Not only do Hue University international partnerships contribute to stronger ties with renowned universities around the world, they also contribute to national effort toward global integration. Moreover, they give disadvantaged students important opportunities to receive a world-class education.
Now we are now moving on to the tourism sector. Thanks to its beautiful landscapes and various promotion campaigns, the central province of Quảng Nam remains one of the country's most attractive tourism hotspots. Now this year, the province will implement 5 more campaigns at some of its signature destinations to continue to boost tourism. These campaigns will target not only domestic but also international tourists, especially those from Western Europe and Japan. As of December of last year, the province had welcomed 3.85 million tourists, a rise of 4.6% compared to the same period in 2014. Now, with these 5 new tourism campaigns, provincial authorities expect to significantly increase this figure this year. With its beautiful tropical climate and pristine white sand beaches, Nha Trang Bay in the central province of Khánh Hòa has long been an attractive destination for millions of visitors. However, people are becoming concerned that the bay is losing its natural untouched look with the appearance of high-rise buildings along the coastline. The following story has more.
At Punaga Tower, visitors once had a wide-open view of Nha Trang Beach and its beautiful islands. However, they can only see part of these now.
I wanted to capture Vinberland from afar, but I cannot. This high-rise building is blocking my view.
I think it kind of takes away from the view, that large structure there. It would definitely be better, I think, if it wasn't there. Probably before it was built, I think the view would have been nicer then.
According to the government decision issued on September the 25th, 2012, on Nha Trang City's planning until 2025, buildings in Nha Trang's coastal urban area are allowed a maximum of 40 floors and a density of 40%. However, at present, 13 buildings in this area have more than 40 floors. Some of them have finished construction, some are being built, and some have just received investment permits.
I think these constructions do not take into account the need to channel air from the sea into the city. These buildings will damage the peace and value of Nha Trang Bay.
Recently, Khánh Hòa Province People's Committee requested investors of these buildings to adjust their designs to fewer than 40 floors. However, buildings that have begun operation cannot be undone. This is a lesson of the importance of constant law enforcement before any infringement is made.
And now the latest weather forecast comes next. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. It's great to have you along. Now visit our website at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for repeats of our bulletins. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Hanoi time and see you then.